Anime, reborn as a vending machine, I now wanted the dungeon. Continuing on to episode 3, Lammies and the other hunters have successfully defeated the frog monster and are currently on their way back to the village. There were no strange occurrences during their journey home, but as they approach the village, they notice a lot of smoke coming from that direction. It seems they can't relax just yet. Lammies becomes very worried about Munyami and the innkeeper in the village. Trying to reassure her, Boxxo attempts to say something to calm her down. Fortunately, Lammies can more or less understand him, and she becomes calmer. Upon reaching the village, they find signs that something has been dragged through the village. The first place Lammies heads to is the inn. The inn building is now completely destroyed, and there is no response when Lammies calls out. If not calmed down again, Lammies might insist on entering the ruined building. Finally, Boxxo tries to stop Lammies with his limited language skills. After thinking calmly, Lammies is convinced that Munyami and the innkeeper have taken refuge elsewhere. Most likely, they sought safety at the Hunter Association. When they arrive at the Hunter Association, they find the corpse of a giant two-headed snake. The snake was defeated using formidable weapons available in the village, which is not surprising since the village is built within a dungeon. Naturally, they would have such defenses. Lammies approaches the guards, Karios, and Gorth, to inquire about Munyami and the innkeeper. Thankfully, they have sought refuge within the Hunter Association. Despite only having lived here for a few weeks, Boxxo already feels attached to the villagers. He feels this way because he has experienced death. Therefore, today Boxxo decides to treat all the villagers with his products. On that night, they all feast on the two-headed snake they defeated. Apparently, the snake is a natural enemy of the frog monster. Many newcomers also want to try Boxxo's products while they are free. The most favorite products are alcohol, potato chips, and Odin. After that, a drunken Lammies approaches Boxxo. Although slightly incoherent, Lammies expresses her joy at seeing everyone still alive. She is also happy to see many people gathered around Boxxo. Lammies feels that Boxxo has become an important part of the village. Boxxo is truly amazed to hear Lammies thinking of him that way. Gradually, Lammies falls asleep after saying all that. The next day, the villagers are busy renovating the destroyed buildings. Many hunters and carpenters are guarding the village. Boxxo anticipated this, so he prepared suitable food products for them. Meanwhile, Lammies is summoned by Director Bear. Boxxo hopes that Director Bear will recognize him as a valuable hunter after yesterday's mission. However, when Lammies returns and recounts her conversation with Director Bear, it turns out she was only asked to help clear the rubble from the buildings. Indeed, Lammies' formidable strength is well suited for that task. Even hunters from other dungeon levels who have just arrived in the village are amazed to see a girl with such power. Unfortunately, during her hunter missions, Lammies often makes mistakes and is seen as a burden because of her strength. Afterward, Lammies runs into Cariol. After some small talk, Cariol invites Lammies to join their group. Not just her, but Boxxo as well. However, Lammies immediately declines without much thought. Other hunters from different levels wonder why Lammies rejected the offer to join the Foolish People's crew. After all, the group is quite famous among hunters. Innocently, Lammies answers that her current priority is to help renovate the village. Sometime later, Boxxo encountered two unfamiliar faces. Coincidentally, Lammies had just arrived to meet Boxxo. The two strangers introduced themselves. The woman wearing glasses was Akawi, and the man behind her was Gokgai. They came as representatives of the exchange house. They had come here because they received reports that this dungeon level was running short of silver coins. Lammies immediately candidly revealed that a lot of their silver coins had been spent on buying Boxxo's products. Akawi made an offer to exchange Boxxo's silver coins for the gold coins they brought. However, Boxxo couldn't do it. Not because he refused, but because he didn't have the functionality for such an exchange. However, Lammies had an idea, which was to buy Boxxo's products with gold coins to get back silver coins as change. Lammies' idea worked, and Akawi got the silver coins she needed. From behind them, a hunter who wanted to steal from Boxxo saw Akawi and Gokgai carrying a lot of coins. He seemed to be planning something malicious. After that, Akawi and Gokgai bid farewell, stating they would return in a few days. To attract more buyers, Boxxo added a new feature, which was a digital lottery function. With each purchase, there would be a random number drawing. If all 3 digits of the number matched, the buyer would receive one product for free. Since adding this feature, Boxxo's sales increased by 30%. One villager who became addicted to the lottery was an old man. His wife had to fetch him to stop his gambling habit. Not long after, Director Bear came to invite Lammies and Boxxo to discuss something at the Hunter Association. First, Director Bear wanted to thank them for all their help during the previous mission. Then, he wanted to discuss something with Boxxo that Lammies shouldn't hear. Looking slightly confused, Lammies waited for them to finish talking on the lower floor. According to Director Bear, there is a high possibility of migration to this village. However, population growth always brings problems. Director Bear's current concern was about hygiene issues. As a bear species, he stated that they only mate during mating season. However, it is different for humans, who do it almost any time. As a result, diseases often spread and hinder development efforts. After hearing Director Bear's concerns, Boxxo understood why Lammies was asked to leave the room. Then, Director Bear called his assistant, Shirley, who would be responsible for handling this issue. The initial idea was to tighten regulations regarding hygiene, but he realized that it would create other problems. Boxxo already knew the solution to this problem. He changed his form and provided condom products to them. At first, they didn't understand what the object was for, but fortunately, there was a picture inside the package explaining its use. Shirley became convinced that it could prevent diseases. She decided to buy a large quantity and distribute them to the people in entertainment places. One afternoon, Sworry, the girl whom Lammies had saved before, approached Boxxo again. Sworry had always been mischievous, but Boxxo let it slide. When Sworry's pranks failed, her bodyguard would take care of her as usual. Shortly after, Sworry returned with a gloomy face, mumbling that her father didn't come home today despite promising to do so. When she faced Boxxo, she was puzzled as a drink suddenly came out without her inserting any coins. Unlike before, Sworry thanked Boxxo for this. Later, during the evenings, Lammies would occasionally take Boxxo to the lobby where the bath was located. There, Boxxo would change the products according to the needs for bathing, like underwear, shampoo, and others. However, the most popular item after taking a hot bath was flavored fruit or coffee milk. As usual, the elderly lottery addict was trying his luck again. This time, he brought his granddaughter, May, along to buy something. He also introduced her to the lottery system. According to the old man, if you win it, you'll be happy for a whole day. May bought a bottle of mineral water and tried her luck. At first, the first two digits showed the same number, and usually, the old man failed at this point. The last digit was always the most difficult. However, unexpectedly, this time the last digit also matched. The old man couldn't believe that his granddaughter won on her first try. As May won the lottery, she chose another bottle of mineral water for free and gave it to her grandfather. He regretted that it was already evening, so the happiness wouldn't last long. Still, May was content for this day as she could spend time with her grandfather and grandmother. The old man was deeply moved hearing his granddaughter say that. The next day, Chief Bear inquired about the truth of Boxxo's mimicry skill. As rumored, Boxxo indeed possessed such a skill. Chief Bear wanted to ask Boxxo to use that skill for something specific. He wanted Boxxo to hide in a crime-prone area and identify the criminals. Before that, Chief Bear wanted to test the effectiveness of Boxxo's mimicry skill. Boxxo was placed in front of the Hunter Association building. Normally, Boxxo would be easily visible without using the mimicry skill. Yet, Lammies was already making a fuss, searching for Boxxo's whereabouts. Munyami informed her that Boxxo was busy with Chief Bear, so Lammies stopped looking and resumed helping with the renovation. Until the evening, Boxxo managed to go unnoticed by anyone. Both Lammies and Sworry were frustrated as they hadn't met Boxxo at all that day, unaware that Boxxo was actually right in front of them. They started talking about Boxxo. It seemed that for a few days now, Sworry had been wanting to buy Boxxo from Lammies at a high price. However, Lammies didn't agree. She said that Boxxo was never hers to begin with. Sworry was still curious about what was inside Boxxo. He clearly wasn't an ordinary magical tool. But Lammies herself didn't know for sure. All they knew was that Boxxo understood what they said and answered their questions. Lammies speculated that Boxxo might be a human. Boxxo himself hadn't expected to hear that answer. After Sworry left, Boxxo suddenly released the mimicry skill, surprising Lammies. As usual, Lammies wanted to share everything that had happened during the day with Boxxo. This is the end of episode 3. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss part 4 of this series recap.